Hey there, LayzeePlayz here. I got to Elite in Zero Build Fortnite in under 100 games, so this video is to help you do the same. You don't have to be a good player to get to Elite, just follow a few tips and do it the lazy way. In both Battle Royale and Zero Build, placement is really important in the lower ranks, so these 6 tips will help you rank up fast. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. So, tip 1. Set yourself up to win or at least don't lose too early. Get your game settings right before you start. Whatever device you're playing on, go into the Fortnite settings menu and adjust your video settings to reduce lag. Visualize sound effects under the audio tab is a must to show where enemy players are. Configure your preferred item slots under the game tab to keep items exactly where you want them. Know all your key bindings if playing on PC. Get comfortable with your controller if on a console. Whatever way you play, use games like Team Rumble to practice and test out settings until you get everything set up just right for you. Tip 2. Know where you're going. Find your favorite areas on the map and learn where the chests and weapons are located. While waiting to board the bus, check the map out and see what route the bus is going to take. Use this to select your drop location and know where you're going before you even board the battle bus. It's good to have a few locations that you're familiar with, as not every battle bus route will suit every drop location. Typically, drop locations near the battle bus start point are going to be the busiest with other players. If you're a new player or have difficulty ranking up, it's better to avoid these busy areas and drop somewhere quiet at the edge of the map. The disadvantage of dropping at the edge of the map though is that you're more likely to have to travel a long distance during the game to stay out of the storm. As you play more games and get used to the map, you'll find the drop points you enjoy the most. Tip 3. Use the terrain to land first. When you know where you want to land, jump from the battle bus as close as possible to this location and drop quickly using your forward button. Aim to start your glide over the lowest terrain point before your preferred location. Fortnite starts your glide at a set height above the ground, so if you're over a mountain, you'll start gliding at a higher point than someone over a lower point like the sea. Use this to your advantage to get to the drop point ahead of other players. This is where landing consistently in the same locations helps. You can work out the best routes to glide in from. The other option is to drop late and glide around to see where everyone else is landing, and then pick a landing point away from other players. Typically, landing in a named location will be busier than the rest of the map. But if you can land late in a quiet location in or near the center of the map, you can avoid having to run from the storm and get good placement before you have to move. Tip 4. Get the weapon first. When gliding in, check your screen for other players nearby. These will show up with your visualized sound effects. Look around for weapons to grab quickly as you glide in to land. If none are visible, get to the nearest chest and keep checking the visual sound effects so as you know where your enemies are. You have 5 free slots to carry equipment. What you carry depends on personal preference, but at a minimum, carry a shotgun or pistol for close range and an assault rifle for distance. Weapons are color-coded from worst to best: grey, green, blue, purple and gold. If you have a choice between weapons, you can inspect each of them in your inventory and select the one that suits you best. Tip 5. Fight if you must, otherwise hide. When you've landed and got a weapon, you can go on the offensive if you've landed early and another player is still gliding in. Or you can wait and try and ambush them as they go searching for a weapon. The last option is to creep around and try not to let anyone know you're there. Wait for anyone else to leave the area, and then you can search the area, grab whatever you need. If you want to climb the ranks quickly as a new player, placement is the easiest way to do this. If you land quickly and hide, you can easily be in the top 50 before the first storm circle closes. Then for the rest of the game, keep hidden. There are lots of hiding places, each with their own advantages and disadvantages. You can hide in buildings or bushes, behind rocks, or even out to sea. The important thing is to outlast as many other players as you can. And finally, tip 6. Reduce your negative rank points. Now this tip will not be for everyone. If you want to challenge yourself against other players and try and claim a victory royale, you should try and keep hidden for as long as possible and hopefully get to the last few players before you go on the attack and try and win the game. If you're like me and you suck at Fortnite, you can rank up the lazy way. You get rank points for outlasting other players, especially if they're a higher rank than you. You lose rank points for damage taken from other players, and you lose a lot if they're ranked lower than you. So the easiest way to rank up is to land away from other players. Hide until the storm shrinks around you. Creep in with the storm. Let storm damage take your health below 20. Avoid using shields, as these will increase the damage you can take from other players and lower your overall ranked score. Keep your health as low as possible as you creep in from the storm, and if necessary, die in the storm rather than die to another player. This will maximize your ranked points and help you to rank up fast. Now in the higher ranks it gets a lot harder to stay alive when creeping in from the storm, so this is how I did it in my first game at Elite. There are 98 players in this game according to the minimap, and they should be a mix of players from Diamond up to Unreal. I like to stay in the battle bus until about 3 seconds before the end before jumping and immediately glide back to the centre of the map. I want to pick my landing point when I see where the first storm circle has formed. Landing at the edge of the map works in lower ranked games where you get a higher placement bonus. But as you get up to the higher ranks, your placement bonus is lower and moving in with the storm is too risky. If you meet another player, even if they don't kill you, any damage you receive could more than wipe out your placement points. Doing it this way, I get a good location center map and don't have to move until late in the game. The first storm circle can form centered on the map, but it usually favors one side. If you land center circle towards that side, you should be in a good location until the end of the game. Just remember to try and pick remote areas, as the new autocannon will detect you wherever you are. I've gone for a centered location here that tends to be a bit quiet with other players. I'm taking a risk here landing late that I get shot as I come into land, but I think at this stage in the game most players are getting set up in their first drop location and maybe already fighting other players, and they shouldn't be moving between locations this early. When I come into land, I'm still checking for other players just in case I need to change plan. This location is good as there's usually a car parked nearby in case I need to make a quick getaway. There are plenty of bushes to hide in, but other players expect this and cars regularly drive through them, so I try not to bush camp, I prefer to tree camp. Try and use a good camouflage skin, the default skin works fine, and don't use a pickaxe or back bling that might give your position away when hiding. Looking at the minimap I can see there are only 62 players left in the game. I'm still hiding and now there are only 16 players left. The storm circle is getting close and I'm going to have to move soon. Before moving I always check around to see if any other players are moving in with the storm. I have full health and that's a lot of negative rank points. There's a player on the hill above me and there was shooting behind me earlier, so I could be boxed in between at least 2 enemy players. I can afford to stay in this tree for a while and let storm damage take my health down. It's only 1 tick at the moment, so not a problem. My big problem is I have no healing and I have to balance moving quietly so as not to give myself away to other players and not dying in the storm. I have a bit of distance to travel to get out of the storm. There is a car behind me and I would use it as a last resort, but I prefer crouching and not letting other players know I am there. Now the player in front has run down the hill and I'm starting to take storm damage. This tree is low so there'll be no fall damage when I drop to the ground. There are 14 players left. I creep in between these 2 hills for cover left and right and make it inside the circle with 35 health. The new storm circle is formed, I'm going to have to keep moving. I start to creep in and there's that player who was shooting behind me earlier. That was close. I don't think I was seen, but as the storm is coming I have no choice but to move fast. I give the other player a little bit of time to get ahead of me. I've 31 health, a lot of ground to cover and no healing. I make a run for the top of the hill this time. I want to see if anyone else may be around me. I see a player running in from the storm along the river. I'm going to have to follow, but not too close. The storm circle is getting very tight and there are still 13 players left. At this late stage in the game it can be difficult to avoid other players. In lower ranked games there may only be 4 or 5 of them. But in the higher ranked games there are lots of players to avoid, so I have to take my health down as low as possible. The storm is now gone to 2 tick. I need to find a better place to hide. Survival is now as much about luck as anything else. I have to find any cover I can and hope the other players are too busy hiding themselves or fighting someone else. The longer I can last though, the more rank points I get. At this point I am basically playing Fortnite hide and seek. I am probably a one-shot for anyone left in the game. And there we are, 10 players left. But the storm circle is moving away from me and I want to stay near the storm edge so as I die to storm rather than to another player. Any extra placement points after this is a bonus. I've got the bonus rank points for reaching the last 10 players. I'm probably the only player still in the game with just a pickaxe. Although maybe someone else picked one of the trees nearby at the beginning of the match. They could still be there waiting. 9 players left now and I want to be right at the edge of the storm. I can't believe I've lasted this long without even being shot at. This is an elite ranked game and every player left, except for me of course, is good at Fortnite. I'm a sitting duck here. There's another player. They've just driven through a bush and are now on the other side of the hill from me. 8 players left. I'm still hidden, but this can't last much longer. I should really kill myself in storm here, but I wait a little bit longer and it pays off. 7 players left out of the 98 who started. And now it's down to the last 6. My position here behind the rock is pretty good. I have to keep checking left and right, but I'm well hidden from other players. As the clock counts down, I don't know how much longer my luck can last. The storm is moving in again now though, and this game won't last much longer. At least not for me anyway. The storm circle is getting so small, I won't be able to hide much longer. And just as I was about to run into the storm, I see 2 cars and my visual sound effects. I stay put behind the rock. I would have been an easy kill out in the open. I don't know how I got away with that. My mind is made up now. I have 1 car in front of me and 1 behind. I want to minimize my negative rank points, so I have to run into the storm and finish my game. And there you have it. The lazy way to rank up fast. A bit hectic at the end, but for most of the game I did nothing in a tree. If you liked this video, please let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, sorry, but please comment anyway and let me know why. I might get better on the next one. Thanks for watching anyway.